Welcome reading 2, or just reading. I don't know. I've been feeling like this with the other reading too, because a lot of times I put numbers on them. But this one was like, when I was called to do this on Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day, happy love day. I just call it love day. Um, yeah, there was just like this whole different energy with these readings that was more than just a pick a card or pick a reading or whatever. They feel that's why they had me, sometimes they have me record them separately. Sometimes they have me record it all in one video, but I was really pulled to record these separately. So as you can see, if you chose this reading, this is number 30, hold on, excuse me, 27, or hold on. I felt so much anxiety. Okay, let's just take a minute. Let's take some deep breaths. I'm an empath too, right? So like we can pick up, as empaths, we can pick up on that energy around us. And so I don't know if it's one of you, but it feels like more, it's either one of you that's so powerful that's taken over this whole reading, or it's many of you, but I'm definitely feeling anxiety. Interesting that you chose the unseen. What I was trying to say is the numerical letters, numbers, the Greek numbers. This is number 27. If you add it together, it's the number 9. So, I feel like we need to burn something. I haven't felt that in a minute, but I'm feeling like I have this tree. Actually, it's from this piece of bark that they're reading is actually on, but I was really pulled to burn it. So just take some deep breaths, okay? Because I'm really feeling it from you guys. And if I'm feeling it, then the others are feeling it too. And maybe you're feeling anxiety and you don't even know why you're feeling anxiety. You know what I mean? Sometimes we can, delude ourselves into, right, the unseen. And say, this is for me, that's for me, but maybe it's not. So, because this was a love reading, like a love romantic relationship, like not just friendship, beyond friendship. This is intimate. If you have found yourself here, you can always watch the reading, of course, but just know that this reading is geared towards a relationship. So this is about two people that if you're watching this, obviously, you have other things going on in your life, because the unseen is, it may as well be called the seer. I'm going to read this to you from the book. Okay, it says, the unseen, the spirit, the ancestor, the eternal. The unseen is just as it sounds. We cannot see it, yet it sees us, watching and waiting with wisdom, both kind and instructive. We feel this presence, we sense it, we intuit, and then doubt its existence. Though it rallies our attention time and time again, the energy of the unseen may come in many forms. A compelling dream, a sudden insight, a clear voice, a vision or message from a loved one who has passed to the other side. It is natural to fear these communications as they challenge our perception of what is real. Now, I'm going to just tell you right now, I don't use fear-based words, and I love Kim Krans. I love her. I love this deck. It's the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. It is magnificent on multiple levels. There's so many messages within messages, that's what I love so much about this deck. However, I want to change that, not because I want to disrespect the author or the channel medium. I just feel like, well, that just wants to go that way. Okay. I feel like Spirit wants me to reword that. Okay. So it says, it is natural to be concerned about these communications as they challenge our perception of what is real. When this card appears, your guides are near and the eternal is present. The doorway between worlds is ajar. Listen. The sounds may seem as though they came from a distant land, but they call from your innermost chambers. So when writing this deck, she also gave a perception of this archetype, the unseen, from a perspective when we're in light and a perspective from when we're in shadow, when we're in dark. So when we're in light, we're clairvoyant. We are using clairvoyant guidance and whispers of wisdom. But when we're in shadow, when we're in dark, we are dark, looming energy and unwillingness to forgive. Oh, there it is. I've been looking, I tapped into your reading. I was very curious because I wasn't getting a relationship vibe. I'm going to be honest with you. I was like, this feels very much like somebody that's like on their own. So it could even be that you're broken up right now, or maybe you're in separation from this person that you're asking about, or that you're seeking, more wisdom about. But interesting, the second I read unwillingness to forgive, I'm like, there it is. So I'm also feeling a little ego, and this could be from you, this could be from them, it can be from both of you. When I pulled the cards for this reading, all 3 readings, the top cards that you saw in the picture on the cover, those came to me openly, and I don't always get that. So that was super exciting. I was like, ooh, and then when they told me they were going to be love readings on Valentine's Day, on Love Day, I was like, that is fucking wild. What? I was like, the unseen. Like, I don't understand. Then I was like, oh, it must be cheaters or something, like, because that's where my brain is going, because I've been in those relationships. And that could be for you. I don't know. Maybe I was meant to say that and share that. But it's interesting because when I was getting ready for reading 1, the second card flew forward, and I was kind of bummed because I haven't seen the second cards at all. It's right behind here. You'll see when I pull it up. But I was not like, I wasn't feeling that. But with yours, it's so interesting because I don't know what your second card is either. So I feel like it's going to give us more insight into this picture. But I definitely am feeling ego. And then when I saw the forgiveness part, it could be some of you are feeling a little smug and you're not ready to forgive, your significant other. Or it could be that maybe you're afraid to ask for forgiveness for something that happened and you're staying away. I don't know. I'm feeling a lot of shame and guilt from somebody. So it's either from you or it's from them. Oh, and my throat chakra, I feel like somebody's trying to strangle me and it's not nice. Hold on, drink some water. You know what? I got to bang that fucker out of there. All right, get your ears prepared. I'm ringing a bell. This feels very controlling. This feels like somebody who, I'm just going to say it. I don't like to say things like this, but I'm just going to say it. Even if it's for one person, there is somebody in your energy, like in your relationship, that is icky, 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 icky. Like, I want to beat the fuck out of them. I'm sorry. It's my Southside Chicago Kelly. She can't help herself sometimes, but it's like, we're not always in light, right? But at the same time, this was part of your path. You put yourself there for a reason. You needed to learn something. You needed to see something within yourself, within them both. And I feel like the willingness to forgive is going to be for you more than them. Like, forgive yourself for staying with somebody. Like, I can go on and on with my relationships, but I'll tell you one thing. The most powerful thing that I've come to realize is that forgiveness is a real thing. And shame is a real thing, and guilt is a real thing. I had a conversation with another light worker recently, and they were expressing, their feelings towards somebody who had harmed them, had passed over. And I was like, how are you doing? Like, how are you feeling? And they're like, well, I'm happy. Like, I'm glad they're dead, And I'm like, yes, but I'm like, not all of us are born evil. Now, some would argue with me and say, yes, some were actually starseeds just like us, planted from, let's say Lucifer, if you believe in that kind of, mindset. But I love Lucifer. He's like one of my best friends, just like Jesus is. And Lucifer had a purpose just like everyone else. And Lucifer was one of the first archangels that called out and called all bullshit and was like, and of course they were designed for that. They were meant to be there and say, you know what? This is fucked up. Like, humans can't handle this shit, man. Like, don't do that to them. Don't. And then they became in charge of the darkness to show how strong and capable humans really are. Look at the planet right now. As it's blowing up all around us, you see the light coming up too. They're trying to fuck with us. They're trying to bring the darkness out. Why do you think this whole thing's happening? If you don't watch the news, but there's something going on with these actors right now, and they're suing each other. And one of the actors is closely linked to Taylor Swift. And it doesn't surprise me that all of this is happening right now, because it's also going to make people, question, oh, maybe Taylor, if she's hanging out with her and they're best friends, then she must be as evil as her. And you know what I mean? People are turning on each other. People are like, I mean, I was seeing something, they're like, oh, I'm team, Blake, and I'm team, Justin or whatever for these actors. And I'm just like, what the fuck, man? Like, I'm like, why should you care? Why should you care? You go clean up your own fucking backyard. What's going on in your fucking neighborhood? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on in your world? What's going on in your world? Go focus on your world. And I feel like that ties into some of you guys too. Like, you need to focus on yourself and this, whatever's going on with this relationship. I'm also hearing a third party. So again, either that somebody cheated or somebody went astray, even if it was an emotional affair. Also, I'm feeling that it could be like a family thing. I feel like maybe some of you are at a point where you're like in this. It's interesting. If you were drawn to reading one, you may want to go watch it. It's not the same in some ways. So far, it's very different, but in other ways, it does align. But anyway, I was meant to throw that out to somebody, but I'm also getting this vibe that like some of you, or at least one of you, there's an issue with like an ultimatum where you have to give them an ultimatum. And, I explained it in the first reading and I'll explain it again. Spirit is not saying the kind of ultimatum where you're like, do what I want or else I'm going to leave you. Not like that. This is like, hey, I love you and I want to spend my life with you, but you have got to cut such thing loose, whether it's a job, friends, family, whatever. But the first thing I got was a mother. I feel like an overbearing mother. So whoever your spouse is, whether it doesn't matter, whatever you identify with, inside, outside, doesn't matter. This is a mother figure that is very mothering and too intrusive in your relationship. And I feel like it's just not healthy for you. Like it's like I'm seeing you going to like family parties and you're just like, I would rather fucking stick needles in my eyeballs than do this. That's not good. That is not good. That is not good. And now is the time they're having me pull the second card. So I'm very interested to see what it is. Oh, the shadow. Oh my gosh. So what I was saying in the other reading, for the other readings, or, was that all of the numerical, all the, I don't know why it's like escaping me, the actual term, but you know what, Greek numbers. The reason, because a lot of people don't know how to read these, and it's, we need to practice on some of that old stuff just so that we can, like this, like she put them in there for a reason. These archetypes, she has all the, I don't even know how many are in here. I think there's 70. Let me see how many. Just so you can kind of grasp the concept of like what this deck is like if you don't know anything about it. So there are 78 archetypes. They have, the first group is the selves, like the mother, the father, blah, 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 blah. Then the next one is the places, the heart, the cave, the temple. Then the next one after that is the tools, the flame, the kiss, the mask. And then the last one is the initiations, right? Eros, agape, thanatos, like talking about like going into like the full term. So the shadow, so what I was saying is at the top of them, each one is a 3, 6, or a 9. And this one is, so there's 2 X's, which is 10, a V is 5, and 3, or these are 1 or 3. So we have 28, right? So because it's 10 is 25, 26, 27, 28. But when you add them together, it's the number 10. And 10 is about completion. And I feel like for some of you, the unseen is the shadow. And it's just lurking behind you back here. Like you're trying to, work on your light and do your stuff, but the shadow. And I'm also hearing that for some of you, the shadow hides in very mysterious places. I don't know why, but I'm getting a vibe like a tree. This feels like a tree over here. I feel like you need to go into nature. Some of you, this is going to be a breakup. And I feel like you already know it. You just need the confirmation. But some of you, it's not that you can't save your relationship. It's just that it's sink or swim time. It's not fair you know, in the relationship for the one person to continually, or you just say, I'm not going to go there anymore, or I'm not going to be around them. And then when they go there and they're like, why didn't they come? It's like, you know, they can be like, oh, they think they're too good for us, you know, whatever I don't know. I'm not saying, I don't know. That's what came out. So maybe that's what you're concerned about. But it's like, who cares? Because that's not your deal, man. That's their deal. I feel like you're taking on their shadow that they're not dealing with. Now, listen, a lot of people right now, the divine masculine is what's crumbling before us, right? It's the old patriarchal energy. We all have divine masculine and feminine inside of us, but the shift has gone too far off the matrix, too much out of the story that we're reeling it back in. Why do you think all these countries are fighting back against the United States, right? Because they're just like, hey, just because you want to you think you want to run this like fucking, you know, Nazi Germany, they're like, not going to happen. They're like, it's not going to happen. And we swore to our ancestors it would never happen again, but it's happening right before us. However, there's a lot of shit that's going on in the underbelly that we don't know about. Did you notice that Anonymous picked back up? For every person who has money and power and greed and control, there are 20 people behind them that are in the shadow getting ready to fucking set shit straight. And I feel like that's who you are. Like maybe you go to your family party, or maybe it's your, you know, your friends or whatever. And cause see how this eye almost looks dull? Like almost like when I look at it, sometimes I feel like it's intense and it's like looking right through you. And then other times I feel like it looks dull. And because the sun keeps going in and out and it, you know, it feels more like in shadow you're reading. I feel like that's for a reason. Because you're a fucking light worker, man. If you're watching this right now, and it doesn't matter, like I said, it's like wherever you come from, whatever, it doesn't matter. This is my job. On my channel, my name is Tallulah Kelly. This is the Magical Medium. And on this channel, what I do, and welcome to the new people, and welcome back to those of you who keep coming back. I love you. Thank you for being here. You know, but my job is to heal the healers, to wake up the shamans, the teachers, and the deep down believers in magic. That's my fucking job. My throat right now is getting really tight because you know that, and you know that's who you are. And you're hiding in the fucking shadow. And maybe you're hiding in a relationship in shadow because it feels safer. Because you don't know what else is out there. You're like, I can just stay like this. I'm comfortable. But comfortable doesn't give you shit. Comfortable keeps you stagnant, and stagnant water rots. You know, you may want that shiny ring now. You may want that shiny house or that shiny car or whatever it is. You may want those things, but I guarantee you, when all is said and done, not much more is going to change with this person. Now, this isn't for all of you. Drink some water. But recently, and this was just up and it just fell. Look what it says, dream. Yeah, so this person is obviously squashing your dreams. Like, you had a dream. It was, you know, now it's like back here somewhere. Now you see, look at DR for doctor, right? Like, you're a healer, man. You are a healer. Maybe it's your dream to be a healer and you know it. You know it. You feel it. Well, you got to put one foot in front of the other and start your path. You know when my path started doing this? When I couldn't get anything. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get an apartment. Like, things were just not going the way I wanted them to go. I had to be homeless, home free. I've been through so many different things and so many incarnations through this process, and it hasn't been easy. And I had to go on faith, and I have meltdowns and breakdowns just like all of you. And recently I had one where I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm like, if this is my job, I'm like, it just seems so ridiculous. I'm like, it's hard for me to see the news and like do this with a positive attitude and you know what I mean? There are days where I'm just like, I can't do it, man. And Spirit's like, then don't do it today. Cry today. Work through that today. And when you're feeling stronger and when you're feeling better, do this. And I find that on the days that I feel the worst, what really heals me is being like, I love myself. I love my life. I believe in magic and miracles. And I say all these, and I keep saying positive affirmations and positive things. Miracles now. I'm just like pulling things off my altar, right? I'll say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you for showing me just how magical my life is. And on the back of this card, I show up for myself in the world. You cannot keep giving to a relationship that is sucking you dry. So I'm going to read the shadow, because I need to. But there are a few more things in the unseen that I want you to see. Or hear, I should say. So in the unseen, it says, guidance comes in many forms. Don't expect it to be glittery or comfortable. The spirit world speaks the truth. Sometimes it soothes and sometimes it burns. Isn't that funny? I kept wanting to burn something. Yeah. Also, if you have the tools, please burn when you're done with this reading, sage, whatever you have, Palo Santo. You can even do it if you have essential oils and water. You can put essential oils and water and boil the water with the lid off in the house, and it'll go into the house and purify the air. Lemongrass, like whatever you need to do. But I feel like your house and you need a cleansing. I'm also feeling like either you had a death or they had a death. Like that just came through too. It's not just like the death of a relationship. This feels like maybe someone's still in shadow, like they're not moving forward, and maybe they're the ones that need the doctor, or they need to like work through this, but you can't give. It's almost like you're just you're like dead in the eyes. You're like, I don't have the fucking energy, because you know what? This is the time right now where we don't have the energy. We literally don't have the energy. All of us have to take care of ourselves. I've been saying this on this channel and to this tribe for years now, and to all my private clients. It's like the whole point of this was for us to facilitate our own healing so that we can be there to help others work through it. The light will always win. The shadow, we were born of light. The shadow was created for us to understand who and what we are. So interesting, I just realized that it's also the next card in succession. And I've had this deck for years, so I've shuffled this thing a lot. But I just realized, so this is 27 and that's 28. So keep going, you need to keep going. So the shadow, oh wait, what'd you say for the unseen? Oh, there's one more thing from the unseen. It says, being graced by the unseen is a gift. So treat it kindly and allow yourself to be seen by eternal eyes. Oh! So now for the shadow, it says the unstoppable, the unwelcome, the denied. Although every card in the archetypes deck has a shadow potential, this card asks us to delve into the qualities of the shadow itself. We often think that the shadow can be purified, illuminated, and made right through effort and achievement. However, it is typically the case that our lofty pursuit of ascension and perfection is the very source of shadow material itself. By rejecting parts of ourselves and the world, we begin to separate from the whole, rather than getting to know the qualities and context of our shadow. We busy ourselves with avoiding its presence. This is denial. When this card appears, it is time to take inventory of those things you've been denying. When the mind responds with no, anything but that, you are touching your shadow. Find support for this deep inner work and move toward the shadow with patience and compassion. Also, I don't throw this out all the time in the middle of the reading, but if you guys would like to work with me one-on-one, I've opened my schedule back up. So I'm doing $125 a reading to do it over the phone, and $75 for a recorded reading, okay? And whatever you want to give past that is up to you, but I will never expect it. But I've been trying to do by the hour, and it's just too difficult. And I know some of you avoid doing work with me because you're like, I can't afford, you want to work 3 hours with me or 5 hours with me, but you're like, I can't afford $500, we'll know what to do. We always will know what to do. In fact, I have some of you that'll be like, can I give you some now and then some later? And I love when money just like pops up in my account. It's exciting because it always shows up whenever I need it, right? Or it's just a great little surprise and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go treat myself. I didn't expect that money. I'm going to go do something nice for myself. So if you'd like to work with me, email me, lulaslabyrinth@gmail.com. It's in the, when you click on the top where it says welcome, witches, healers, and deep down believers in magic, when you click on that, it'll bring you to all of my information. And if you'd like to donate to the readings that I do here in any way, whether through Venmo, I have a Venmo account, and I also have an Amazon account. It's my wish list. I've only been adding so far certain things that they want me to add, but I think eventually I'll add more. But right now, whatever's on there is what's on there. But mostly it's tarot cards and oracle cards. So if there's a deck that you see on there that you've always wanted me to work with, or you'd like to see me work with it, feel free to send that on. But nothing is ever expected, because I am very blessed by spirit and everything works out exactly as it's meant to. But I do feel like some of you are working through some really hard times right now. And I know that I feel much better when I talk to my people. So if you would like to work with me one-on-one through that part of the shadow, please reach out. Okay. So I love what they're saying about this, because it's so true. When we try to fix or repair or heal somebody, that's when our ego is present. The only person who can do that is them. Now, you can give them and support information, and they can take from that information however they want it. But man, I'm really getting nature for you guys. Do you see, look down here. Can you see my, hi? This feels like grass. This feels like a tree. And this feels like sky and like mountains. And I feel like this is like, you can see a campfire through the trees. I feel like, honestly, like nature is your best friend. If you can go somewhere safely in the outdoors that's away from your home and away from your partner and go and have a fire, I highly, highly suggest it. I don't normally like always feel these kind of feelings, but they had me turn this, and I feel like it's meant to be. In fact, I'm like a screenshot. I'm like, because I feel like that's for somebody somewhere. I don't know how or why. Also, sometimes I tell you guys in these readings that I'm going to put pictures in the posting. It used to be they called it the community section. It's now changed to post. YouTube has been changing and evolving so much since I've had this channel that it's hard to keep up. I love it because it's getting bigger, cooler, stronger, and it's taking away from like these apps and certain things. So I think for me, it's better. I get to make more creative videos and have a different connection with my tribe, with this tribe, with you. But it's also sometimes hard because I'm like, I don't have the energy to keep up like that, you know? So just always check and see what, look at the tabs above. So, the tabs will say, homepage and video, shorts, and I don't know what it says now, but the community section is now turned to posts. So sometimes I say I'm going to put pictures in the posts or videos in the posts, and they don't have me do it, but I still have the pictures. So I don't know when they'll be, but I feel like they go out when they're meant to. So maybe you watch the reading on a podcast, pick a card or something, and I promise an imagery of the card. And if it doesn't get there, I didn't say this in other readings, so this must be for somebody who's been waiting for it. They're like, a wizard arrives always when they're meant to. So when you're meant to receive that medicine, you will. Again, right? Sometimes the imagery needs to hold back for a minute until you can see it, right? Like even this, I love how this has like this duality. And interesting, she could have chose to do this like full black, you know what I mean? But it's almost like, it's like speckled black and white. So I feel like, we all have shadow and we all have light. It's just part of it. That's part of it, right? We're healing, we're learning, we're growing. But also it's interesting that this, to me, it almost reminds me of here. This is, so if you're drawn to reading 3, maybe this is for you, but look at how, do you see how this looks now? If you don't even look at the egg, if you just look at, do you see that? I feel like this is that with this over it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it almost looks the same to me. So it could even be that like the reason why, you're not having the rebirth that you're wanting or looking for is because, Spirit's not going to allow you to move forward until you actually, right? Like you have to get through it to get to it. So you're not going to get to the things you need to get to until you go through this. Even for myself, like you think I have days where I'm like, I'm a fucking telepathic medium. Why can't I figure my shit out? Because I'm not supposed to. Spirit blocks me. If I start to have a breakthrough, do you know, I have days where I'm like, I get nasty. I do. I'll say, Spirit, what the fuck, man? I'm like, we were like on this good, it was like, I was understanding something and then it's just like, bam, block. It's black, or there's like a story or something else. And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, I don't understand. Because that's all I get to see. because that's all I need to see. And in the anger, that's my ego going, bitch, give me more. I can handle it. And Spirit's going, no, you can't. You need to work through this. Once you get through this, I'll show you more. I used to freak the fuck out. Like when I had a deadline coming up and I was like a few weeks out and I had no idea what the outcome was going to be. Now I'm just like, cool. I'm like, I wonder what's going to happen. And I still have my moments of, concern, but I don't live in a fear-based state because it's not where I belong and it's not where you belong. So if you're in a fear-based state, so you're either avoiding the shadow or you see the shadow, but you don't want to see it. So you're not doing anything about it. Right? So that's interesting. So when we are in light with the shadow energy, we're revealing unconscious aspects of the self and the world, right? And also I'm hearing from Spirit and seeing it for what it is and not what we want it to be and not judging it either, even if it's grotesque and vile, which we are seeing that in front of us. We are seeing the most disgusting underbelly of humanity right in front of us, out in front of the world, but it needs to be so that the rest of us can be like, no, no, no. The rest of us believe that the Holocaust actually happened, and that was a lesson for us to never do something so vile and disgusting in history again. Not to mention all the other Holocausts that have happened across the world since then and are happening right now and have happened in the past. We are here as the light workers, shedding the light on the shadow and saying, you know what, this was an earth school and we were given free will, but now the angels and archangels, and there are so many angel energies and presence that are embodied in human form and around us that are not in human form and that are around us in spaceships and outer realms. They're not going to win. So I feel like Spirit's like, somebody needed to hear that. They're not going to win. And for some of you, I feel like stop going to the doctor and stop taking so many antibiotics. You know what antibiotics do? They actually fucking weaken your immune system. When I started living off the grid and taking care of myself and doing things, I've had people who are like, I could never live like you, or how do you, and I'm like, you know what though? But being a pioneer has been awesome. It's been the most amazing teacher I could have ever asked for. It has strengthened me beyond words, beyond anything I was a little fucking princess. I used my outer beauty and my inner beauty to get the things that I wanted. And I used my shadow to get what I wanted too. I would manipulate. I would use my sexuality. I'd bat my eyelashes, and whenever I catch myself doing that now, I'm like, whoa, 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 slow your roll. That's not who you are. That's not meant for you. Stop trying to make something happen. Stop flipping the fucking script and we're not allowed to do that. Also, I feel like some of you are like dying to know like what this is, and it's a little mushroom. And it's jade. When I was putting this reading together, jade kept coming through, so you may want to work with jade. It's also for abundance, but also green is the heart chakra. So, the only thing you can do is work on you and heal you. That's the only thing you can do. Work with your shadow, work with your stuff. So it says when we're in dark, we are in denying unconscious aspects of the self and the world, right? So when we're in light, we're revealing unconscious aspects of the self and the world, not judging it, ourselves or others, and going, oh shit, man, okay, so clearly I need to still work on that, right? But when we're in shadow, we're in fucking denial and being like, that's not my fault. Look at like all these people with money and power. They're like, oh, it's this person's fault. Oh, it's always someone else's fault. When somebody's passing the buck, that's somebody that needs some deep fucking inner work because they didn't have to. When you're given everything and you don't have to actually work for it, how can you appreciate and respect it? Now, there are some people who are born into money and they just feel it. They just know that they're meant to give back and they do entrepreneurial things with it. But most likely in another life, they probably struggled with that. And now in this life, they get to be the person who gives and gives and gives and gives. So one more of the shadow aspect is, in the shadow of the gods are the very, in the shadow of the gods are the very gods themselves. Reflect on this statement by James Willman in A Blue Fire. So that must be the name of a book or something like that. So A Blue Fire. If you're interested in this, pause it right now, get pen and paper or write it on your phone. James Willman, A Blue Fire. Okay, so it says, what do you despise about yourself? Oh, shit. By answering, you move towards shadow, right? Like, what do you despise? I had that recently where I was like, I was so angry and I just did not like that side of me. And I literally said to Spirit, I hate this part of me. I don't want to be angry. I don't feel like I'm this person. I don't feel like an angry person. And, you know, sure enough, I feel like that mushroom means something. Maybe you guys need to take some shrooms. You know, medicinally, shrooms can, like, if you take it in very, very like microdosing, it can really help change your and rewire your brain, because a lot of the stuff that we're dealing with is old stuff. You know, if you found yourself on this channel, most likely you're a generational breaker, right? In your family, like you're breaking these generational habits and taboos and these limitations. You know, you're meant to go through the fucking glass ceiling and be the example in your family. So, you know, it's the things that we're looking at ourselves that are so ugly were grown and given. And never, it's not like it was on purpose, right? But it's like, you can blame our parents and you can blame their parents and so on and so on and so on. But we get to decide as adults, because if you're watching this, you're an adult, you get to decide as an adult how you handle something when it comes to you. How do you put it back into the world? How do you feel? So that's pretty profound. What do you despise about yourself? Because that's the thing you need to work on. And release, because it's not yours. It was most likely taught. And the last message is, contemplate the following scientific observation. The closer an object, whether it's a person, place, or a community, the closer an object is to the light, the longer the shadow it casts. I want to read that again. The closer an object is to the light, the longer the shadow it casts. Meaning, if you put something, like right now I have this like this, right? But if I don't have another, maybe I do. Let me see if this is going to work. Okay, see how now I have a light in front. Can I do it? Will it work, Spirit? Well, maybe this is for your homework. Because what they're basically saying is that once you put the light on something, everything behind it, oh, whoa, that's interesting. Everything behind it gets darker because the thing that's in front is what's illuminated. So when the shadow is long in the back, that's saying like the light is winning. Even though it looks like there's more of the shadow, it's that one thing that is causing the light. Does that make sense? I know, I feel like I'm trying to translate what they're saying. So that's really powerful. That's really powerful. Wow. I see what they're saying. It's a great imagery. On the bottom, they have a, like, if you want to go deeper into this energy. Also, it's on page 117. I feel like that means something to somebody. That also is the number 9. Oh, because we've been talking about the 369. Oh, so powerful. Yeah, because I feel like you guys, you're at the end of something and at the beginning of something else. And you're right there. And a lot of us are, you know, because we're in a 9 year. 2025 is a 9 year, which means like we're almost there. Like, this is not going to keep continuing. Trust me. Enough people are going to stand up. Enough, you know. When I saw that Anonymous was back, I actually felt so happy and safe, because I'm like, this is a group of people that are like, they've been back in the shadows again, but now they're like, no, now we're like, okay, listen, you dark motherfuckers, we have just as much power as you do, and we're going to assert our power. So good luck. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's some fucking serious shit that's about to go down. So this says to go deeper. It's a book by R. Johnson. So again, pause this, get pen and paper, or write it on somewhere. R. Johnson, and the title is Owning Your Own Shadow. I didn't do this with the other one, but I feel compelled to do it here. So it's on the very bottom here where it says go deeper. Okay, so you can even take a screenshot. Let me see if I can balance it so you can get a... Anyway. Okay. Are there any more messages for... Are there any more messages for reading too? Yeah, I was starting to feel like there's something else. Do you want me to pull any more cards? I do want to come back to like the love relationship, because even though it's... I feel like for some of you, It's either you or your partner feels unseen. And I feel like the last bit of information they want to give is that some of you are hiding your shadow, or they're hiding their shadow because they're afraid you won't love them or you won't forgive them, or that you'll have to change the dynamic in your relationship until you feel safe and comfortable, you know. But there's definitely love there. And there's a lot of regret. Oh gosh, Spirit just said not many of you are going to stay together with this person. And I feel like you know this. Shit, I just got the chills all over my body. But some of you will. That's always the thing. And I'm not doing that to give some of you the false hope. I feel like for those of you who know, you know. You know. You've been seeing it for a long time. They're asking me to add them together. What? Okay, so 9 and 10. Yeah, and again, when you add them together, it's still 10. It's completion. Yeah, it's just done. And some of you, it might be forever, and some of you, it's just going to be a short time. Maybe you need to figure out, I was starting to see some other stuff in here. You know, maybe it's time for you to figure out things on your own, because you're both looking at things from a different microscope, through a different lens. And it's just like, it's almost like you guys, it's like you're like this, but you're not. It's, you know, and it makes sense too, because if you're this powerful light being and they're living in shadow and they're in the depth of their shadow, it makes sense that, you know, you're not even in the same fucking dimension. It's like living with a ghost. Ooh, that's powerful. That's really interesting. Do you have any more messages for them, Spirit? No, that was it. I definitely felt like there was one more message. All right, you guys, until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. All of my information is on this channel, like I said, and feel free to reach out if you'd like to do some work with me one-on-one. Until next time, I love you. Take good care of yourselves and each other. Blessed be. Oh, bye.